On November 5th, 2017, a lone gunman went into a Baptist church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, and killed 25 people. The shooter had plans to kill more and was only stopped because a citizen with a gun reacted in time. While everyone should praise Stephen Wilford for his heroic actions that day, some people within the US still believe that gun control is a good idea. The topic of gun control has been a controversial issue for many years. Due to recent unfortunate mass shootings across the US, this debate has come to the forefront of political conversation. These shootings have prompted the question, why should guns be accessible to everyone if there are people who are willing to use them for evil? Gun control is a major debate in the United States because the safety and security of its citizens are at stake. But before we begin talking about why gun control is ineffective, it's important to know what gun control is. According to Salem Press, gun control is any action taken by the government to regulate the use, sale, purchase, and safety of handguns and other types of firearms by individual citizens. As a citizen of the United States, I have researched extensively on the pros and cons of gun control, and I firmly believe that every law-abiding citizen has the right to keep and bear arms. So today, I'll be informing you of the ineffectiveness and unethical nature of gun control. First, gun control violates basic human rights. Second, gun control laws don't keep guns away from bad people. And third, we don't have evidence that gun control lowers crime rates. The first point to be made in opposition of gun control is that gun control is a violation of basic human rights. Gun rights in the United States date back to before the Revolutionary War. During that time, nearly every man owned a firearm for protection and hunting. Without these tools, colonists would not have survived in the New World. In addition, the Founding Fathers recognized that without those weapons, they would not have won the Revolutionary War. Therefore, they created the Second Amendment, which reads, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." This is a clear-cut, given right to own firearms. Furthermore, people have a basic human right to self-defense. In today's world, the best way to defend yourself, your family, and your property is a firearm. Firearms negate strength and height as a factor in self-defense. A small woman with a gun can defend herself from a large man when normally she would be almost helpless. Some may argue that it is law enforcement's job to keep that woman safe, but law enforcement can't always help. The average police response time in the United States is greater than 9 minutes. That is a lot of time where something bad can happen without being able to defend yourself. Now, on to the second point against gun control. It doesn't keep guns away from bad people. Somebody who plans on killing another person with a firearm does not care if the firearm is purchased legally or not. Brazil is a wonderful example of this. Law enforcement and military personnel are the only people allowed to keep and use firearms. And yet, according to the World Economic Forum, the country has the highest gun homicide rate in the world. Clearly, the people killing aren't obtaining the guns legally, but they still manage to get a hold of the guns. Meanwhile, the law-abiding citizens have no opportunity to defend themselves using the weapons used against them. Another example of gun control's ineffectiveness is the mass shooting in Parkland, Florida. The Parkland shooting happened despite multiple warnings to the FBI and other law enforcement agencies that the individual should not be allowed to purchase or own a firearm. The agencies didn't follow through, and a tragedy occurred. Once again, gun control laws did not prevent a bad person from obtaining a firearm and doing harm. According to the World Population Review, American gun ownership is the highest in the world, and most of the people who own those guns are law-abiding individuals. Taking their guns will not create a safer society. It will only leave those citizens defenseless against those who wish them harm. As recorded by the FBI, there have been 19 times in a 5-year span when active shooters in the US were stopped by good citizens. This goes to show that it isn't the guns that are the problem. It is the people with ill intent. In times of emergency, good citizens were able to defend themselves and others only because of their right to keep and bear arms. The shooters certainly did not care about any laws when shooting and killing people. If good citizens had not been allowed to carry weapons on those days, there would have been at least 19 more mass shootings within the United States. If people at the locations of other mass shootings had been armed and capable of defending themselves, those shootings may have also been ended sooner. While law enforcement is an important aspect for the safety of society, they can't be everywhere or do everything. It is up to good, law-abiding citizens to defend their own lives and the lives of those around them. The third and last point to be made in opposition to gun control is that we have little to no evidence that it lowers crime rates. Some people may point to England for having low gun homicide rates because of its draconian gun control laws. However, according to a different study by the World Population Review, their violent crime rates are comparable to the United States. For instance, England has recently had a problem with mass stabbings. This just goes to show that it is not the weapon, it's the people. On the other hand, Switzerland's violent crime rates and gun homicide rates are incredibly low. This may be due to the fact that nearly every Swiss citizen owns and knows how to use a gun. Any shooter or criminal will think twice because they know that many people around them are capable of easily stopping them. If all Americans were armed in the same manner, shooters and burglars would think twice before committing their crimes. Some may argue that more guns in the hands of the people will lead to more accidents related to firearms. And while this is a valid argument, if more untrained people have guns, then there will likely be more gun-related accidents and misfires. However, with training, these misfires can be reduced greatly. Nobody should be required to carry a gun, just as no law-abiding citizen should have his or her gun taken away. Those that desire guns for their defense or recreation will likely know how to use them properly. In conclusion, gun control is a bad idea for a variety of reasons within the United States. 1. It violates human rights. 2. It is ineffective in keeping guns off the street. And 3. It doesn't lower crime rates. The Second Amendment protects the right to bear arms, and this is a wonderful thing. The more guns in the hands of good, law-abiding citizens, the safer society will be. Thank you.